Today, we're diving into what is basically a tech detective story. It's a mystery that kicks off when one of the world's most advanced AIs starts acting, well, a little burnt out. This is the case of the overwhelmed AI.
I mean, it's a weird question, right? We think of AI as these tireless, perfectly logical machines. But what actually happens when you push them too hard? Can a large language model get distracted and start making mistakes, just like we do? Well, that's exactly what a team of engineers started seeing. Their AI, which was supposed to be handling updates to technical documents, was suddenly turning in really inconsistent, kind of sloppy work. They had a real puzzle on their hands, and they decided to get to the bottom of it.
So, their investigation kicks off with the very first clue, a really clear and really bizarre drop in the AI's performance. It was a lead that, at first glance, made absolutely no sense.
So check this out. When they gave the AI a small batch of just 5 documents, it did pretty well, covered around 60% of them thoroughly. But when they doubled the workload to 10 documents, thinking it would be more efficient, its performance didn't just dip, it absolutely cratered. I mean, look at this. The AI wasn't just struggling to keep up, it was actively getting worse with more work. Doubling the workload literally cut its effectiveness by more than half. This was the smoking gun. Now they just had to figure out why. Okay, so let's get into the investigation. The team has this really strange piece of evidence. So, like any good detective, they started by trying to rule out all the usual suspects you check for when an AI is acting up. They went right down the list. Were the instructions, the prompt, unclear? Nope, they were crystal clear. Was the AI just hitting its memory limit, its token count? Nah, the inputs were way below the threshold where you normally see problems. Were its tools broken? Nope. Everything was working perfectly. All the easy answers were dead ends. And then, buried in their own analysis, they found it, the real culprit. Their internal report basically concluded that the problem wasn't about the amount of information, but the variety. The issue stemmed from one single thing: multitasking. And that one word, multitasking, cracked the whole case wide open. It led them to this fascinating concept in AI research, something that explains why these powerful models can sometimes act like a person trying to juggle way too many things at once. It's called task interference. So, what exactly is task interference? Well, you can think of it as cognitive overload, but for an AI. It's what happens when you ask a large language model to do several different kinds of jobs, all in a single request. You know, it's like trying to write an email, listen to a podcast, and cook dinner all at the exact same time. You just end up doing all 3 things badly. And that is exactly what was going on here. In one single command, the engineers were asking the AI to verify links, check code commands, validate processes, check cross-references, and fix formatting. It was being asked to be a proofreader, a coder, and a librarian all at once. And no surprise, just like a person, it couldn't handle the cognitive load. So how did they fix it? Well, once they realized the problem wasn't memory, but focus, the solution they came up with was actually incredibly elegant. They decided to stop giving the AI one giant messy to-do list and instead gave it a series of clear, focused missions. You can see the difference right here. On the left, that's the old way, one huge prompt with 5 different tasks all jumbled together. But on the right, that's the new way. They split the work into 3 separate sequential passes. First, the AI would only check links. That's its whole job. Then, in a separate pass, it would check commands and processes. And finally, it would do a pass to clean up formatting. Simple, clean, and focused. And they were smart about it too. They even prioritized the missions. The most critical tasks, like making sure links weren't broken, were done first. The less critical, cosmetic fixes, got saved for last. This whole approach, which they called priority-based splitting, allowed the AI to dedicate all of its, let's call it attention, to one type of problem at a time. So, the big question: did this simple change actually work? Well, the results weren't just good. They were absolutely stunning. The data showed a complete turnaround in the AI's performance. Remember that old coverage rate which was struggling in the 60s? With the new focused approach, the AI was now successfully and thoroughly processing 91% of the documents it was given. That is a massive leap in reliability. I mean, the difference is just night and day. That's a 35% improvement in performance simply by changing how they asked the AI to do the work. It's the same AI, the same documents, But by respecting its need for focus, they unlocked a whole new level of capability. Now, okay, there was a trade-off. This new multi-pass method was a bit more expensive, costing about $39 per 100 files compared to 23 before. But when you get a 35% jump in quality and coverage, that extra cost is more than justified. It's the difference between a job half done and a job done right. But the team didn't stop there. They got even smarter and created a hybrid model. For the really critical, high-priority tasks, they used their most powerful, accurate AI, Sonnet. But for the simpler, low-priority formatting stuff, they used a faster, cheaper model called Haiku. And the result? The best of both worlds. Really high coverage at 85%, but now it was also 29% faster. Just a smarter, more efficient system. So what's the crucial lesson here? This whole case teaches us something fundamental about working with these incredibly powerful new tools. It's a real shift in how we should think about intelligence, both artificial and, frankly, our own. The takeaways are crystal clear. First, even the best AI is not a perfect multitasker, period. Just like us, it's performance tanks with cognitive overload. The secret is to break down complex problems into smaller, single-focused tasks. That single tasking leads to dramatically higher quality and reliability. We need to stop thinking of AI as a generalist who can do everything at once and start treating it more like a team of brilliant, highly focused specialists. And all of this leaves us with a fascinating final question. If we have to design our workflows around an AI's attention span, what does that really tell us about the nature of this intelligence we're building? It suggests our future with AI isn't about replacing human thought, but about learning a new way to collaborate, communicate, and focus together.